All right, all right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, I'm still asleep. Well, good morning to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We're doing this live. NASDAQ NQ Futures. New York open in about 5 minutes. Let's take a look at the plan here. How much time we got? 5 minutes. All right, let's take a look at the 4-hour real quick. So 4-hour, right? We're in an uptrend, clear uptrend. If we take a look at this ascending channel, whoops, here we go. I would say, there we go. Let's give it a little more. Boom. So 4-hour, clearly in an uptrend, ascending channel. Let's take a look at the 1-hour. Probably going to see not much of a difference. Okay. Where's previous day close is around 950 area. So we have an idea. We're in the middle of that 4-hour or 1-hour channel. Looking for potential high up here. Looking for that 925 area for a potential long. So, all right. So I think we got I have an idea. We gotta delete that so it doesn't. What are we looking at right here? 900, 925 area has potential pullback on the open for a push up. I am feeling bullish. The challenge is finding an entry on that pullback. Hopefully we get a pullback. CPI print pushed us up about 100, a little more than 100 points, 120, 150 points. Now we're in the middle of that CPI print. So I can see us coming back down to test again the, where is VWAP? VWAP's at 960. The breakout area, or at least the push on that CPI print was around 950 area. So hopefully we can get lucky, get a pullback around 925, 950. And then I'd probably use the pivot point, that 900 area, as a potential stop down here. So entering somewhere around 920, 950 if we get the pullback. If this is a gap and go, because we are gapping up, right? We're about 50, 60 points above yesterday's close. If we continue, then the challenge is going to be, are we going to get some type of push up, a pullback? Where is the basing of that pullback for continuation? Or, it can go either way. I've been biased and wrong several times, so I have to be able to change thinking on the fly. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is JC. For anybody new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. We're going to do this live. Yesterday was boring. We had no action. I did end up taking a trade in the afternoon or later in the day. I was able to catch that push down, or not the push down. I saw the push down and longed at the 200 SMA and caught some nice profit. That didn't happen until even an hour after the stream, like 11:30, when we finally saw the push down. And I was not trusting that for continuation, so I longed and caught a couple points. Morning to everyone. Hope everyone walked out with some green yesterday. So you got my thinking. How much time do we have? 1 minute. All right, no more yapping. Looking at a potential pullback here around the 925, 950 area. You got VWAP, you got 200 SMA down there. So let's see how it plays out. Thirty seconds. I don't think we have any more news. We had CPI print. We're right in the middle of that, so I can see how we can test the breakout of that CPI print around, again, 950, that 925 area is where I will long, or looking at a potential long, again, long bias, and I'll risk probably the pivot point around 900. Here we go. Here's that drop that we're talking about. Not enough yet. We do have China news. I think there was, I don't think there was an agreement. I think there was a commitment to agree, whatever that means. But looks like there's progress with the China tariff talks. Good morning, good morning. All right, here we go. Nothing too crazy just yet. We're testing the 20 SMA there. I mean, this could be the launch pad and we won't get any further downside. I would like to see more downside before I commit to a long, but let's be patient. It's only not even a minute into the open. Good morning to everyone. Do me a favor, if you're new to the stream, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. My times are in Arizona time, so for most of you, I'm 3 hours behind. It is 6:30 a.m. here in Arizona. Oh man, still sleepy. All right, here we go with that push to the downside, testing VWAP and 200, I guess would be the target down there, around 950, 960 is the initial resistance area that I could see pushing down here, but I'd love just for a safer entry, 920, 925, and then give that probably a stop below the pivot point, so probably an 890 stop. So risking about 20, 30 points for a potential 40, 50 point play. All right, here we go. We're coming down to that area we talked about. Hitting VWAP right now. Again, I was hoping for a further push down, similar to yesterday. I may not get it, but this could be the bounce area. Just not trusting it just yet. Let's see. Let's be patient. I'd like a little more down. An exaggerated play to the downside, but that could be the VWAP bounce. Didn't get that push down that I wanted. Come on. All right, so it's bouncing off of VWAP. Come on, push down, push. There we go. There we go. Looking for that previous day close test around 950 next. And I'd love to see an exaggerated push down around 920, 925 for a potential long entry. But let's see what we get. Patience. Patience is a virtue. VWAP is providing support, but usually when you have a VWAP bounce, it's stronger than this, so I'm okay waiting to see if we have a little further downside. Usually it's that exaggerated play to stop out everybody that's longing VWAP right now. I mean, listen, VWAP bounces or VWAP entries in general are good plays. But I'd like to see it attempt to stop out everybody who's longing right now at VWAP, and then I'll look for an entry somewhere down here. If I don't get it, that's fine. Then what we'll see is a push up, testing the 20 SMA, and then come back down. We got time. You got 20 and 200 SMA providing support. That's an area right now of confluence. Yesterday we had an area of confluence with all major indicators. Today it's only the 200 and the VWAP at this area, at least on the 1 minute. Come on, give me that push down. If we don't get further push down, then I'll have to consider this is a VWAP bounce. It'll come to the 20 SMA, test that, come back down, and then potentially carry it in. But that's also where you could get faked out for the exaggerated play that I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Come on, push down, push down. Give us that exaggerated stop hunt run. So far, it is looking like a VWAP bounce. Just being very selective with my entries. I'd like this area for the potential long. Okay, there we go. Testing 200 SMA now. Flush it, flush it. Come on, flush it. Struggling to flush below the 200 SMA, and again, I'm looking for somewhere around this 920 area for a potential long, giving myself the overnight low as a potential stop. But if today is truly a move to the upside, there's a lot of room for the upside. So I'll be patient. Again, that VWAP is providing support. There's that bounce. I could see it come up to the 20 and test, and then at that point I'll have to consider that this is the low of this move, and VWAP is providing the bounce for this play to the upside, and then we can look at either pullback on the 20 SMA bounce and then the final play to the upside. Again, it's early, so no need to rush this. All right, so it's consolidating, right, between the 20 VWAP, little area of confluence there. Again, I'm looking for a stop hunt run to this area, somewhere around here. If not, then there is a lot of potential for the upside. I would need to look for a pullback afterwards and find an entry. Jesse James in the house. Morning, brother. All right, so now we're coming in to test that 20 SMA as I mentioned, right? At the bounce at the 200 to the 20. Again, I'm looking for a little more downside before I commit to the long, but very aware that VWAP may be the support on this move, and then I'll have to find some type of pullback around this area for the bounce. So we got time. We got time. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Listen, I know you guys got a lot of options out there, a lot of talented traders, but I am trying to commit to a little bit of consistency on my live trading. All right, we'll see. We'll see what we got here today. Looks like it wants to push, right? Came down, tested VWAP, and now that's the push up. Now we're testing that 20 SMA, and this is where I'm hoping we get a pullback. If we get just a push and go, then just one of those hop on a long, which I don't like to do without a pullback. But I got to be aware that we may not go below VWAP today, or at least not on this initial move. There's that resistance, or initial resistance at the 20 SMA. Good. What I'm looking for is a further pullback. Now, if we come back down and test the 200 or VWAP and VWAP again and just don't have that push up, I gotta commit to the long at that point. Come on. Again, I'm looking for the VWAP long stop hunt run for everybody that's playing the bounce of that VWAP and got greedy and didn't exit on the 20. I'm looking for a flush or a stop hunt run on all those traders right now, and then look for an entry somewhere around here. But it may not. This may be the classic VWAP bounce long. Let's see how it plays out. Still consolidating again around 20 SMA and the 200 at this point. This little range right here. You also have VWAP, but no strong movements. The thing I got to look out for is if we do get the break above, where would my long entry be? All right, here we go. Now we're coming back down to test that low down there, the opening range low down here. Fantasy Arabia is done. He played the news. I actually did play CPI as well on one account. Got a nice little 100 points with one contract. But that's a gamble. I was just trying to pass an eval. All right, so VWAP is providing at least initial support right now. We're in this little consolidation zone. Right there. This is previous day high, and then we have an overnight high with that CPA print up there, which I'm sure we'll try to test again today. But I'm hoping we get a exaggerated pullback to trap some, to number one, stop out all the VWAP bounce traders and trap some bears into thinking this is a move down. I mean, it could be a move down, but I got to commit to a play. That's my plan right now, is this flush for an entry. Now I can continue and I'll risk probably 20-30 points, and at that point I'll lose. But that's the problem when you're biased. I do think we have further upside today. Is there an app for Quantower? There is not. I don't think you can. No, you can't trade on Quantower on your phone. The only reason I like Quantower is I can multi-prop copy trade. In other words, I can copy trade all Rhythmic prop accounts, whereas with Tradeify, I can only copy trade one firm at a time. So my solution now for TickTick and Tradeify, I use Tradesyncer, which is web-based trade copier, to copy from my Quantower master. So yeah, no, I haven't started using my funded futures. I think that's going to be one that I use down the road. I mean, eventually you get payout caps on all these prop firms. So as I hit payout caps, I'll start opening accounts with other ones. My funded futures is a good one. I just haven't taken the time to open accounts with them. But as far as I know, they pay and they're a good company. All right, come on, flush. So you got a lot of VWAP bounce players right now, hoping for that bounce. What I'm hoping NQ will do is stop all those guys out and trap some FOMO bears, but it's not doing it yet. It's slow. What I hope doesn't happen is a repeat of yesterday where we had an hour of nowhere. I've gotten very strict with my entries, so if it does happen, then it'll probably be day 2 of no trades, at least not on the live stream. It did end up taking a bounce on that play, that push down yesterday that finally happened, like almost 2 hours afterwards. I didn't play the push down, I played the bounce and walked out with some nice green. Come on, NQ, do something already. The problem is, well, just because you're patient doesn't mean you're going to get a green play. I mean, there's been times that I've been patient for an hour, hour and a half, a move finally happens, and I still end up losing because you waited for an hour, hour and a half, you think that's the right move, and then you get faked out. All right, here we go. Here's the flush that I was looking for, around 920, 925, unless we get a retarded push to the downside. Where it just flushes down and I'll have to wait. At 920 is the area that I'm looking for. Here we go. Come on. Keep pushing. So VWAP bounce. This is probably just a stop hunt run for all the VWAP bounce players, but let's see what happens here. My stop will be somewhere around the 900, 890 area. Let's see what happens. And if I want to play this safe, I'll probably take an initial play right around here, and then I'll consider if we want to long. All right, I'm not liking this bounce. This bounce is not convincing me, at least not yet. So it may play all the way down to pivot point, which I mentioned, which is around 900. At that point, I'm taking about 20, 30 points of drawdown. I won't DCA down there, but I'll either have to ride this and consider this is going to be a stronger, exaggerated play to the downside, or, you know, a lot of people are long biased like myself. This may not be the long play today. Yeah, I'm not liking that bounce. I'm not liking it at all. It should be stronger. Not liking that bounce, especially since we're topping right around here. I may get stuck in a bad range. Usually those bounces are a little strong. Okay, well now we're getting a little bit of light. But I was hoping for a stronger bounce. I'll be patient, but I'm very aware that this is not, it's not looking like a strong bounce. But let's see. There we go. And my exit is right below the 200 SMA. Although there's more, you know, there could be, I mean, like I said today, there's a strong bullish sentiment right now for today. This could easily just continue. But I'll take the initial win there. What are we up? 400, 480, 500. I don't have to capture the entire move to the upside, but I'll take little bits of it throughout the morning. Oh my God, don't tell me it got me by a tick. No. God damn it, one tick. Look at that. Oh, all right, we got it. All right, so a nice little win there. 600 bucks in the green. I called the play, right? I said I didn't like the VWAP bounce. I wanted that 920 area, 920. I committed to it, and we got a nice little 30-point play right there. Why did I get out here? Because we're going to find a little bit of initial resistance here at the 220. We can, it's not always going to do the play, the long play right off the bat. I could see a little bit of a pullback here, and then if I see, an ascending channel forming, then I'll enter on that long again. Or listen, I'm 600 bucks in the green across all accounts. I mean, I copy traded Apex on Tradesyncer. I got Tradeify, Tick. I could be done. That's 600 bucks. What else do I want? And I think that I'm going to call it. I think I'm calling it a day. I got better things to do. Yeah, 600 bucks across all my accounts today. You guys saw it live. The plan worked. Waited for a level. And we got it. Beautiful entry here. Played the 200. We're going to get a little bit of resistance area here. And like I said, I mean, there is strong bull sentiment today. This can continue further up. Just don't need to be greedy. I think I'm going to call it a day. You guys saw that live. Thanks for tuning in. What am I looking for now if I want to re-enter on this? I'd love to see the pullback. But there may not be a pullback. That could be the push to the upside. Well, that happened pretty quick. I'm done. The good thing is, as you guys noticed, I was resistant on the VWAP bounce. NQ loves to trap. Don't get me wrong, sometimes that VWAP bounce is strong. I mentioned I'd like to see the stop hunt run on all the traders that are playing the VWAP bounce. We got that flush, that 920, 925 area that I called even before I took the trade. There's a reason for that, right? That's a 4-hour level. If we take a look at going back to this right here, if we draw this line right there, right across, right, these are levels that have provided support and resistance in the higher time frames. That's why I was looking for that area for the bounce. NQ, as nasty as it can play, it does respect higher level time frame levels. You just have to learn to play them. Now, again, it played out in our favor. This could have been an easy flush to the downside, and at that point my risk would have been, I did say I was going to risk the 900 of that pivot point as the potential stop, but I was banking on the VWAP bounce flush. In other words, to A, stop out all the VWAP bounce players, and B, trap shorts, right? Somebody sees this little homeless candle, like, oh yeah, this is going down, this is it. Well, you got trapped. While you were shorting, I was grabbing your liquidity right there with a nice 30-point play. So, hey, it played out. You got a plan, you stick to your plan. I did not want to commit to the VWAP, even though we had this consolidation. And I even said on stream, it could be that day that the VWAP bounce plays, but not to say the VWAP bounce won't play. I do think there is a consolidation area coming around here, and then we'll get the final. Because usually when you see a push down with NQ, you get the initial play to the upside or the downside to trap. You know, anybody who's now getting FOMO, right? They miss the entry down here, they're FOMOing in around here, and then NQ will flush those guys out too. So there's going to be a fake out, right? The fake out just played out, dropped them 995 down to about 30 points, and then you see the final play. But you got to learn to not get trapped. The whole point of playing the New York Open is don't get trapped. The New York Open is full of traps. But you got to find areas where you have the least drawdown potential. The way I looked at the play today, this area had the least drawdown potential. Now, like I said, today has a strong indication for a move up. Once we break through overnight high, there's very weak structure from there on. We can potentially see 200, 300 today. I like to be done within the first hour. I'm done. Tommy, appreciate you. Hey, played out, man. I'm not gonna go crazy celebrating. Today we got lucky. It played out, but there was a plan. You guys heard me call that play before it happened. And minimal drawdown. I mean, that was a beautiful play with what, 10 points drawdown? Jesse, brother. Nice. You got some PA action going on there. Nicely done. All right, so I'm up on my, what's it called? My sim funded accounts with Tradeify and TickTick. Apex, I did blow some accounts last week, so I'm trying to get those back up. But as far as my sim funded accounts, we're up $600 across the board. I may just, actually, let me turn off the copy trade. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be done, period. But I will turn off the copy trader and pull up one account and maybe continue. Generally, you guys know I like to play 1 or 2 trades and should be done within 30 minutes or 1 hour of the open. Yesterday I probably was one of the longest times I've stuck waiting for a play, but usually I like to be done within 30 minutes, 1 hour. What am I looking for if I were to go back into a trade? So the market gives you clues, right? This is the consolidation zone for that VWAP bounce. All we had was a flush to shake out some longs and then trap some shorts. But we're still in this consolidation zone, right? From here, what am I looking for? A breakout of that, probably to retest the CPI print, which is currently the overnight high. Yeah, you're right. We always say I'm done. I just turned off my trade copy. I'm not trading any more accounts. I'm done. $600 in the green is fine. No need to get greedy. But if I see a play, I may just trade one account, and it'll be an eval at the most. No funded accounts. My funded accounts are locked. Done. All right. Let's see what we got here. So we're now setting up for the VWAP bounce, right? We're testing VWAP, this little range here. Let me see what else could I'm looking for patterns, right? We got a little descending channel forming right here. Right, so logic would say we come back and test this area and then the bounce again. NQ does this, right? It loves to trap. Anybody who saw this and longed here, you got decisions to make, but you can potentially be pushed all the way down before you get the bounce that you were looking for, and that's what NQ wants to do. It's going to trap. So if I'm looking for a long, I need that stronger pullback to test the bottom of this descending channel. Now, the test of that descending channel could have been this area, and this is officially the breakout of this channel. It's just a riskier, again, where do you enter with the least amount of drawdown? Sure, you can long here. You just got to know that you have to be able to take the drawdown all the way down to this area. But I'll be fair, even if you do take this drawdown, the potential for the upside because of weak market structure in the past is strong. I mean, we can see 200 plus today. I just don't want to get greedy. I'm done. Well, for anybody new to the stream, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe button. It helps me out with the algo. I'm committing that I'm going to do this a little more frequently, so hopefully doing live streaming more often. I also have, for anybody new to the channel, I have prop firm updates, news on prop firms, all the prop firm drama. I also do videos with that. But I'm going to try to go back to the basics, back to my roots of live trading, trade recap videos. This is going to be a nice one today. And for anybody wondering, you know, if things went downhill on this long, I was only going to take 20, 25 points, right? And at that point, you know, it's a play to the downside. You can take I could take a quick recovery scalp to the overnight low, recover the loss, and then figure out if the bounce is happening somewhere down here. So there were options. I was looking for the least amount of drawdown for either a short or a long. All right, so again, we're still in this range, right? This consolidation range. A break above that would put us back into the CPI print mode and could possibly come all the way up to test the overnight high or the high of that CPI print. But channels, man, you got to learn to respect channels. This can give us a second pullback for the true bounce to the upside. And that's the long I would consider is coming back down here somewhere and then boom. But I'll only do it with one account. Like I said, I'm done. Got 30 points. Beautiful entry down here and exited at the test of the 200 SMA. Well, I hope we see something else. And this was a similar, you know, this was a very similar play to yesterday. Remember, if you remember yesterday, we had a similar flush, but yesterday we didn't get the flush to where I wanted, right? Let's say this is yesterday's chart. Actually, let's take a look at yesterday real quick. I didn't enter on this long because I was waiting for a stronger flush. And the bounce happened around here and it just kept going, at least for the initial bounce area. You got to learn to be strict with your setups. Yesterday, yes, I missed, I think, about 40 or 50 points on a bounce and I didn't enter, but I was strict to my entry. I wanted a lower pullback and it just didn't give it to me. And I was okay. I said it on stream. I was like, all right, well, I'm okay not taking that long. Jesse, all right, yes, I used the linear regression channel. It was a game changer for me. I watched 3 different bar sizes, auto channels on. I filter trade ideas based on the bigger picture channels. Linear regression channel, man. I'm going to have to call you and, You're gonna have to explain that one to me. That sounds like Top One's Futures. What is it? That new consistency rule that they pulled out. Something with equity curve. No, not an equity curve. I forgot what Top One Future calls it. But they have a new consistency rule. It's insanity. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what your linear regression channel is. All right, still in consolidation. We haven't. Dennis, so I use Quantower. The platform that you're seeing right here is Quantower. I use Rhythmic. I love Rhythmic. I know Tradeivate is very easy to use, but the problem with Tradeivate, listen, I love Tradeivate. Don't get me wrong. It is very user friendly. It's cool. You can do it on your phone. It's web based. The problem with Tradeivate is you can't copy trade multi-props. In other words, if you're going to copy trade on Tradeivate, you have to have all your Apex accounts on Tradeivate. You can only copy trade one prop from at a time. With Rhythmic, Quantower, I can set up all my props that have Rhythmic and copy trade that way. Now with Tradesyncer, which is a cloud web-based trade copier, I use Rhythmic for all my Quantower for all my Rhythmic. Tradesyncer maps. I map Tradesyncer from one master account on Quantower, and on the web, without it even being installed on my computer, Tradesyncer will copy trade to my Tradeivate accounts, in this case, my sim funded accounts. So that has been a game changer for me. I played with Ninja and Replicanto, and it's just too cumbersome. I finally found a solution where I can continue to trade on Quantower because, listen, I love Quantower. For copy trading, I don't think there is a more powerful multi-prop copy trader than Quantower. Now, if you're only trading, Dennis, to your question, if you're only trading, let's say 15 accounts with the same prop, yeah, you can go Tradeivate, right? You can copy trade all your Apex accounts on Tradeivate. But let's say you have Apex, you have Tradeify, you cannot copy trade at the same time on Tradeivate. Now, that's because I copy trade everything with at the same time. I am not the cycle accounts, right? And listen, nothing against that. It all depends on your strategy and what works for you. I cannot sit here and trade all day flipping through accounts. Two Apex, two Tradeify, and then just find entries throughout the morning. I will copy trade them all. You saw this trade, and it was the same trade was taken across all accounts, both Rhythmic and Tradeivate, because I want to be done. I'm usually done within the first hour. With loser draw. All right, so here we go. We're still on this channel, right? You got not channel, the range, right? We have 40-point range consolidation area. If I were to enter, I'd love to see a flush again to test the bottom of this channel, but I'm also conscious that the top of this channel is becoming the support area. Anytime, guys. All right, do me a favor, guys. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, smash that like, hit that subscribe. It helps me out with the algo. We got about 10 viewers. Thank you. I know there's a lot of competition out there, a lot of talented traders to watch. So thank you for tuning in. I am going to commit to do this live more frequently. I keep saying that, and then I get lazy. But I do want to build a community. For those of you watching today, well, we can say, hey, JC started with 8 traders, 8 viewers. Still in consolidation. I don't take trades in consolidation. We're in the middle of the 15-minute opening range, right? This red line and this blue line is Quantower's automatic 15-minute opening range. We're right in the middle. I don't fiddle in the middle. So we got to wait for a resolution, right? Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Also, I think it's important to say this stream is for entertainment purposes only. You won't see me pulling or pushing P&L. YouTube is cracking down on YouTubers, sim traders. and the unrealistic posting of profits and wins. These are sim funded accounts and sim evaluation accounts. These are sim profits, simulated profits. So I don't want to give the impression that although this trade got $600 across each account, both evals and sim funded accounts, at the end of the day, it's not a realistic view of trading live accounts. So I don't want to mislead in any way. This is for entertainment purposes only. And again, YouTube is cracking down on that. You're seeing a lot of YouTubers having to take content down and fixing or adjusting their previous content posting profits, when the profits, to be fair, are simulated profits. It's not an accurate reflection of trading live accounts. I am not trading any live account today, so I'm not bragging about P&L. These are simulated profits. Good simulated profits, especially on my sim funded accounts. All right, guys, I'm done. What could I have done differently? I always look at my trade, right? I did look at this area for the long. I am a 220 SMA player, and I stick to that. I knew that the initial resistance was going to be at the 20 and the 200. However, the resistance wasn't as strong as usual. We did push above, so I could have captured more profit. Maybe, leave it open to an additional push up or the top of this range, right? But there's days that it works that way. There's days that you come test the 20 to 200 and flush right back down. So, it's always finding strategies that have the best profit potential long term, not necessarily based on that day, because most of the time you'll see a initial rejection here and pull back. Today was one of those days that it continued, and maybe I'll take a look at the trade. What could I do differently? Maybe because the 20 and the 200 were so close, there could have been that fake out push, but still, green is green. All right, so the VWAP bounce, right? The only thing that happened with that VWAP bounce play, and this is where you have to manage your risk and your losses. VWAP bounce was around the 960 area, right? At the initial flush down on the open, anybody who longed here and didn't exit, you got pushed down. You just have to learn to manage loss. If I had longed here, you damn right know that I was not going to close that trade down here because I knew that was a potential bounce. So if you longed, you just have to manage that drawdown. Even if I had longed at the VWAP, I would never have closed here. I would have taken a longer drawdown, and that's why I use 150K accounts. The VWAP bounce did play long term. In other words, if you look at it right now, if you held through this stop hunt run, you are still comfortably in the green. But right now, I think you're hitting one-to-one trade on the VWAP bounce. It's just managing your risk at that point. That's why I use 150K accounts, because NQ's job is to trap and flush out plays. In this case, I got, the play played out, but NQ could have easily come back down and tested the overnight low, and I was fully aware of that. Would I have closed down here? Probably not, unless we saw a flush. But you just have to learn to manage levels and try to figure out a level that has the least amount of drawdown in your favor. So now we are out of this range, right? The consolidation range on the VWAP bounce play. And now it's playing out. We're about to test the high of that 15-minute opening range. And like I said, I think there's strong bullish sentiment today. I think if we get another pullback, that would be a safe long. I think the market structure to the upside based on the past is very weak. So that could give a nice push to the upside. Again, I could see how we see 22,200 today easily. But as far as scalping and what I do, I'm done. I may consider, if we have another strong push to the downside, I may trade my personal account with a swing trade going for 100 points. Like I said, I am biased. I do think we're going to have a strong push to the upside today, but I wouldn't, especially on a personal account, I would wait for a stronger flush, whether it comes back and tests this channel and your long is around the previous day close, in other words, yesterday close, or it come back and test the bottom of this channel somewhere down here. Well, that was easy peasy. Done within the first 15, 20 minutes of the open, and that's what I do. 30 minutes to an hour. Win, lose, or draw. I'm walking out of this one. So thank you for everyone who tuned in. I'll be back tomorrow. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe channel. Help me out with the YouTube algo. But that's it, a one and done trade for the day. It worked out nicely in my favor. No need to push my luck, but I am watching for a potential swing trade. I just need a stronger flush to the downside. Thank you, everyone. Jesse, James, FPL Fantasy, Arabia, Dennis, everybody who participated in the chat today. Thank you, guys. I know you guys have a lot of options, and I'm okay with my 10 viewers. Hopefully slowly grow from here, and I will see you guys tomorrow.